Welcome to the Friends and Rivals podcast.
That's like wearing a rubber to jerk off.
Let's talk Devils and Islanders, let's talk Penguins and Rangers, but let's not talk about Flyers, cause they're a bunch of fucks, which no one can deny.
Don't try it till you've had it. This is episode 65 of the Friends and Rivals podcast. I am one of your hosts, Tom Harkness. Joining me each week are
Stephen Wojtowicz.
Sorry, I lost everybody for a second. Is it my turn?
That's why we're all fucking quiet looking at you.
Well, everybody's looking at I'm Bill Fougere.
Nick Laruda with no delay.
Oh, yeah. So there's one spot where Steve has to now fucking edit. See him writing notes down? Jesus Christ.
Sure.
How's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
Oh,
amazing.
Awesome. What are you doing? I thought I had this queued up, but I didn't. I didn't learn anything from last week. I'm sorry.
Look for that.
Suck. We're going to start off with the shitty call of the week.
21 San Jose, both guys 5 each for fighting.
And this one is going to bring us to the Caps Canes game. Am I sharing the right screen, by the way?
Unless you're trying to share something about a Wisconsin postal worker.
No, that's for later. There we go. That is more gooder. This one brings us to the Caps Canes game from 3 nights ago, something like that. And it was
throws it right there. That's a penalty. How did they miss that? I don't know. Osh doesn't know that. And here's Oshie. The little tap sends him to the box, and Oshie's in the box, and he is as mad as I have seen TJ Oshie this season.
So Oshie's or rather Stahl's call knocking the stick out of Oshie's hands did not get called, but Oshie's got called. And it's typically that's the case, right? With plays like this, the retaliation penalty typically gets called. Never the first fucking penalty gets called ever. And the problem I have is the ref was staring right at it. He's sitting in the corner looking at the play and didn't even bother calling it. If the ref is looking at the play and he sees an infraction, shouldn't he call the fucking penalty?
I mean, sure, if he sees it, maybe. But did he not call it because of the angle he's on? I mean, that's only the one ref. Where's the other ref looking? You know,
does the other ref need to do anything if this ref is staring right fucking at it? But so, Steve, you said they have responsibilities, right? Is that referee? Is he responsible from the goal line back?
Typically, the low ref follows the puck, and then the high ref follows the other action. So where was the puck? If you rewind a little bit.
In relation, yeah. It looks like it's behind.
Keep going.
I can't see. Or Ovechkin has it right there.
Go back a little more.
Yeah. Jesus. I got to go all the way back.
All the way back. Come on.
It looks like the puck is on the right side going across to Ovechkin.
So it should be right in his eye as he's following the puck. He should see these two in the middle.
Stahl, he gets it in his.
You're right. It went right past him and even missed Ovechkin and hit the boards, but came right back to him. I mean, the ref was looking right at the play.
Yeah.
And that referee in the corner is the one who ultimately calls the retaliation penalty against Oshie.
Right.
So that's on him. Shitty call of the week.
Shouldn't be allowed to take somebody's stick like that.
No, you should not. But it's typical, right? The guy who retaliates is the one who normally gets called. So before we get to our food segment, we have a special guest joining us, I'm told. And here is our Bantam B AHF champion, Casey Fougere. Casey boy, unmute yourself, buddy.
This thing's awful. Help. Zoom is awful. I hate it.
I see you take
I have too many flashbacks to I had too many flashbacks of virtual school with this website.
So Casey, congratulations on your championship that you won. Tell us a little bit about it.
Thanks. All right. So that game was the entire weekend was amazing considering how I put up 11 points in 4 games. I was obviously really happy about, but I was happy about winning a championship in a very big underdog situation. we had
You okay? Did you just see a boob or something? You good?
Screwed it up.
God damn it! All right, I guess I can't do it. I
What
cannot.
the hell
I
happened?
can't do it.
Oh my
I'm
god!
going to laugh the entire time. I'm going to laugh the entire time. Not gonna be able to do it.
All right. Oh, it was just an idea.
Okay, terrific.
But I guess
Okay,
I can try, but like I don't know too much.
All
Anyways,
right. So
yeah.
Casey, so this is Randy. This is the southern contingent here.
Why the
Just checking in with
fuck
your
does this guy have to be in on this too?
just check in on how you did. Did you see any other southern fellows you played against? Did they any of those fellows? Did they have any goals like you did? You seemed to play real well. I was very impressed by the clips I saw from your father, William.
Jesus Christ.
Can you
Nobody even
expand on
knows
that?
what your question is because you go on and on and on and on and on.
Thank you, Stephen. I really appreciate your concern for my question to Casey. But this is not your segment, Stephen. This is not all about you at this time. It's actually
Yes,
about
Stephen.
Casey, who's a proven winner and the only proven winner we have on this program. So Casey, did you play any teams from south of the border and the South Carolina area and down, or only teams from New Jersey?
Well, we played a team from Philly, which is you'd probably say it's down south because they act like a bunch of Southerners. They act like assholes.
Mm.
Are you saying Southerners are assholes?
Yeah,
Oh boy. Oh boy.
especially Jersey. I've had a lot of games this year with a lot of bad blood with some South Jersey teams.
I reckon South Jersey is like a suburb of Philadelphia, and all those folks seem to be in the same demographic of trash people. Would you agree that Philadelphia and Southern Jersey seem to be trash people? Because that's what I've heard in my local
You would
news
be the
groups
fucking
here.
expert.
Well, it's basically this let's say Birmingham, Alabama. Just basically
Raleigh,
it's
North
Alabama.
Carolina. It's just like Raleigh, North
I'm
Carolina.
familiar with Birmingham. Not the best group of people, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It takes a few more than one or two people to figure out how to screw in a light bulb. Right? Isn't that right, Stephen? Isn't that how many people takes, your company to figure out how to sell a light bulb?
Oh no, we sell the light bulbs. What do you guys do?
There goes our listenership in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh no.
So, Casey, you were the captain of the in the championship game, and you got to accept you guys won a banner. Was that correct? Did I see that correctly? That you guys accepted a banner?
One banner. Yeah, one banner. It was it was really special being the person picked to bring it to my team. It was we worked like it's always nice winning the tournament. Remember last year we won that tournament and it was really good. Winning a championship is amazing, but to win one where you worked the entire season for is something even more special because you put that much work into it throughout the entire season.
No doubt. Now, is this your last year in Bantam? Next year, you're just playing high school, or are you doing? You're playing outside of high school as well.
This year is my last year in Bantam. Next year is gonna be high school and midget hockey. So that's what I'll be doing next year.
We do things politically correct on this podcast. Little person hockey.
I'm sorry. 16U hockey.
So you're not actually playing against midgets. I mean, that would be a bit of an unfair advantage.
No, we
for you.
We did play against them. We did play against a team from Long Island, and this one kid probably had some disorder, and he was like,
They played against the midget that absolutely lit them up.
Well, yeah, but wasn't that kid really fast? That was the really fast kid, right?
The kid waddles.
the kid, and
The
obviously
kid
he
practically
couldn't-
waddled his way across the ice.
Yeah, I'm thinking of somebody else.
Did he wear Did he wear number 17?
I don't remember.
Oh, Captain Martin Kovic. Oh no. Oh man. Well, Casey boy, thanks for coming on. Congratulations on a incredible season that ended with a champion. You are a champion always in our book.
And we're sorry you had to deal with Randy.
No, it's just fine. I'm fine with it.
Oh God.
All right. Always good to hear your voice there, Casey.
Thank you.
Real proud of you over here.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, Casey boy. Casey Fougere, the son of our own William Fougere, a champion in Bantam.
That's correct. Bye.
You're still
At
here?
the end of the interview,
That's right.
you leave the interview.
Here?
Too bad. Sorry. Bye.
See ya.
Okay, I think it's really gone.
We're gonna work on this improv for next time. Okay.
Yeah, his improv skills need work, Bill. That's bad parenting right there.
Yeah. Well, it seems like the instructions were clear when we talked before.
Casey needs to attend a few Zoom classes too. I mean, like the.
Well, no,
this
he
is all I
learned
can
that from
see.
his mom. That's how his mom talks on.
You got that from his mother. Yeah, you got that from his mother.
Okay.
By the way, somebody posted,
like this.
somebody posted like the photos of all the moms with the championship banner on Facebook. I don't think it was you, but out of all the moms that were in that photo, Jen looked the most uncomfortable out of all of them. She just was kind of like had her eyes closed, kind of staring off to the side. It was, if you know Jen, it was hilarious. All right, let's move on to our food segment. This is going to be our top 5 chips.
All right, who's leading us off?
So we're going to do kind of the same order, right? That everybody says their numbers, and we'll move it along from there. I'll start it off, and my number 5 are the basic barbecue Lay's chips. Now they could be the honey barbecue ones or barbecue, doesn't matter. As long as they got that barbecue in them, I'm good to go with the barbecue Lay's.
I like
good choice,
that.
man.
I prefer that honey barbecue myself. That's a good choice.
Take it wrong. Although you eat one, you're gonna eat like 7,000 more.
I couldn't agree with you more. Steve?
My number 5, regular nacho cheese Doritos.
Classic.
Very much so.
Stellar.
Can't go wrong.
No.
All right. My number 5 is Cheetos. I just recently
Cheetos?
started getting into those. I was never into those as a kid. Not the puffy ones.
The crunchy ones.
Those are those are cheese puffs. Those aren't Cheetos.
Well, the ones that I want are Cheetos.
Just that cheetah.
I almost put that on my list, but then I felt they weren't chippy enough.
They weren't
go with it.
enough?
Nah, I didn't feel like it was. I felt like I get too much shit from you guys about it, so I was like, I'm skipping that.
More shit than pretzels?
Maybe making an honorable mention.
Yeah, it could be honorable mention.
mention.
Right there you go.
Honorable mention. All right. My number 5 was one of my favorites growing up, Fritos. Just eating a billion Fritos, it feels like, in my lifetime. Every once in a while, I'll go get a bag. I'm like, I really miss the flavor of that shit. And then eat the entire bag and be like, why the fuck did I eat that entire bag? I feel like 1,000 pounds now. Don't know what it is about those.
They'd be my honorable mention. They make them with like taco flavor on them. They're fucking amazing.
There's some weird flavors. Yeah, I think with the chili one.
Or is it chili? It might be. You're right. I think it is. You're right. I think you're right. It's chili. But man, those are good. Those are good. My number 4, sourdough pretzels. You may not think they're a chip, but they're a chip to me, and they made my list. You can go the fat ones. You can go the thin ones. I don't care. You know what? If you do get the real fat, thick, hard ones, isolate that. You put the little golden mustard on there, just as delicious as if they were soft pretzels.
My number 4 is bologna. Because apparently it doesn't. If it doesn't matter if it's a chip or not, we could just say whatever the fuck we want to say. So bologna is my number
just
4.
like an M&M.
Oh.
An M&M is a candy bar, right?
Well, bring that up last week. Don't bring it
I
up
did
this
bring
week
it
because
up
your
last week.
defense
And what's
not
the
picking
big
a
deal
fucking
that
chip.
I brought up a pretzel.
Sourdough.
A
No,
pretzel's in the same goddamn category as a chip.
No, it's
No, it's
not.
not.
It's a pretzel.
Okay. Good.
Sourdough is like
A
giant
pretzel
fucking
is a
thing, too.
pretzel.
No,
It sounds like the
Steve's
little
number
ones.
4 is bologna. Bill?
Peanuts are peanuts. Popcorn is popcorn, and chips are chips.
Okay, great.
Bolo-
Bologna.
Bologna.
Good
I
job.
mean, if bologna's in the chip world, I might want to redo my list a little bit. But my number 4, and I would say my number 4 to my number 2 are pretty much interchangeable. My number 4 are Harvest cheddar flavor sun chips.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
But they'd actually be a little higher on the list. So you're saying they're interchangeable? Okay.
No, I'm sure he's got 3 different fucking sun chip varieties as the next 3 choices.
Here's the sour cream
Spoiler alert.
somewhere.
Spoiler alert. Don't ruin it, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
My number 4 is the first repeat. Lay's barbecue chips. I've eaten too many of those to the point where I'm like, you get sick eating them because they're just like, you sit there, you're like, have one, and you're like, fuck, man, it's so good. But you can't stop eating them. I don't know what it is, that flavor.
I could not agree with you more. Looking back, they should be higher on my list. My number 3 are Tostitos scoops.
Tostito scoop is an interesting one because on its own, it's not that great. It's a conduit. It's a conduit to get other toppings, other dips, other various flavors. So it's a solid choice.
You don't have to just you don't have to settle just for dips. Like when we have taco night, which we normally have on Tuesdays, I'll get the scoops out and build little mini tacos in the scoops.
Right in the scoop.
Right in the scoop.
Hands down,
little cheddar, little lettuce, meat.
Hands down, the best Tostito option there is.
Very versatile.
Yes. Number 3 for me, plain Wise potato chips, especially on anything you buy at Tasty.
Oh
yes.
Oh yeah.
The sandwich.
Yeah. Absolutely the
100%.
best chip for a sandwich.
Agreed.
100% agreed.
Can't
OG
argue that one.
OG 2.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's an original. Yeah.
My number 3 are French onion flavor sun chips.
Chips.
Fucking
French onion
Jesus
sun
Christ.
You
chips.
had multiple.
Love me
See,
some
I
sun.
only took like one version of the Dorito. I didn't think it was fair to take 2
Oh
versions.
no, that's absolutely
Yeah?
fair to.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I missed out on
For
that.
sure.
But that's
Completely
okay.
different flavors.
Yeah, no, I got you, but they're the same fucking. It's the same.
No.
You can't. No, especially on Doritos. Like that's like their things. They're all it's the same chip, but the flavor is
The
completely
flavor is
different.
completely different.
No, I got you. I used one over the other.
All right. My number 3 is Tostitos hint of lime.
Oh, that hint of lime is pretty fucking good. Yeah. Good
Yeah.
call.
If you don't know that you're eating the hint of lime chips, it really does sneak up on you, though.
It does. It's kind of funny because I didn't like those. I always eat this regular Tostitos, and then one day that happened to me where I was eating them and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And then I look at the bag and I'm like, "They come in flavors." And
Unlike the scoops, you don't need to dip those in anything. They don't taste good dipped in anything.
it's kind of weird because what I'll do with tacos. So like sometimes we do Taco Tuesday, and I don't always. I'll take a bunch of Tostitos and just crush them up and put them on the bottom of like a bowl, and then put all the meat and all the crap and make a salad of sorts, but without the salad part.
I do that with the broken hard shell taco, but I do the same thing.
I used to do the same, but then I realized Tostitos taste a hell of a lot better than that shitty ass I
shell. Agree, but what are you gonna do with that poor fucking hard shell? That
you throw it out.
So you use the hint of lime chips at the bottom.
I've tried it, and it's kind of weird. It's not.
Yeah,
the same.
I would think so.
I wouldn't recommend it because I agree. If you try it with other things, like you did salsa, but it's really a chip on its own. It's not
chip on its
opposite of Tostitos scoops.
Scoops,
yeah.
It would probably be only good in salsa, right? Or maybe guacamole
Yeah.
too. Maybe guacamole.
You
would be
could
good
do
with
it. It's just a weird extra flavor, though. Like, it seems like it'd be a good idea, but
I
like,
think we should just continue this conversation so that we don't get to hear what the next sun chip is from Bill.
Well,
That's
before we
not
get
my
there,
thing, but that's the one that I dislike. I mean, out of all we've said so far, I could throw support to anybody's choices except for Hinterline, those Doritos.
I can see that. I can see it. It's not
It's
an
a hit or
everyday
miss.
for sure.
It's an
Yeah.
all or nothing. It really is.
I agree.
And I know what I'm bringing when next time I go to Bill's.
I know what I'm getting for his birthday. All right. My number 2, Cheetos. Goddamn. You can buy those friggin' little rubber things that you can put on your finger, your forefinger, and your thumb so you don't get cheese on them. But what's the point?
Why would you want to do that?
What's the fucking point of that? I don't get it.
That's like wearing a rubber to jerk off. Why would you do that?
That's a good analogy, dude.
That's a wonderful analogy. I don't think anybody could have said that better.
No, why would you do that?
God damn.
Licking your fingers, digging the caked on Cheetos out of your teeth. Like
Exactly.
the next hour, that's all part of it.
You
It's
hit
all
the
part
nail
of
right in the head, Bill. You
the
got to
whole-
eat
the whole
the
game.
Cheetos until that cheese is caked on your fingers, and then just scrape them. And oh yeah, I'm all in. Yeah, Cheetos number 2.
Now, for me, the drop off from number 2 to number 3 is like the drop off a cliff in the Grand Canyon. Number 1 and number 2 are so much higher in my pecking order than 3, 4, and 5. So number 2 for me is the Cool Ranch Dorito.
Solid
And
choice.
that's another one.
Good choice.
Got to get that shit on your fingers.
Oh yeah.
You got to get dirty with that.
That is the classic. My number 2 is garden salsa sun
Ugh,
chips.
fucking asshole.
But what's
3 sun chips in your top 5.
What's the
What an
difference between all of
asshole.
these?
My word.
It's just different flavors of cardboard. That's all that it is.
Wow. 3 different versions of sun chips. I never would have thought of it.
All in a row.
Wow. Interchangeable at that too.
Yeah.
Yes. All delicious.
No.
My number 2 is Doritos nacho cheese, which is my favorite Dorito. Mostly because as a kid I ate it, and even now I eat it, and it's still a timeless fucking classic.
We all know why it's your favorite. It's your fucking nickname. That's why it's your favorite.
It's not. It's my number 1.
I know,
it's-
but still.
It's good. Although I do like Cool Ranch, but it's not the same. I can't eat I can't eat as many Doritos of Cool Ranch. I'll get sick of those pretty much after enough of them.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
I don't know. It's
Wow.
a flavor. It's like a
I think I'm the other way around. I would get sick of the nacho
opposite.
cheese before I. Now here's something
Oh,
I've done with
yeah.
Cool Ranch too. You put it into you crunch them up, and then you put them into a pepper grinder,
oh,
and then you
That-
grind them and you put that on your tacos.
that's a good idea. I thought you were gonna say you put that on something else, but that's a cool idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
to try that.
What else would he put them on, Nick?
I don't know. Make it
Dogs.
into like a
bananas,
bologna,
applesauce.
Oh, listen, the hot dog thing.
pretzels.
You actually might be onto something with that one. My number 1, Cool Ranch Doritos.
Oh,
There you
it's
go.
not debatable.
Not debatable.
Not even debatable.
Not even close.
Wow.
One of the I was no, I don't know if okay. I was really, really high when I was
Yesterday.
like 18. And I ate an entire bag of Cool Ranch.
Oh my
Doritos.
God.
Literally an entire bag, and I drank nothing. And
Why
I
do
tell
you
you
hide to do
that I threw up on the exit off of Route 1 for Riders Lane on that jug handle. I made my cousin stop the car, open the door, and Ralph a half a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos on that exit. And you know what? You know, you get you get that food that you eat that makes you want to vomit, like my brother's is fucking what those holy shit, my brain went blank.
Pretzels?
Combos.
Oh, right.
Like he can't eat combos. Just the thought of it just want to make him vomit. It's like me with like pesto. But you would think that would be like my food that makes me vomit. Nope. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
Oh, Doritos
So
are
there's my
delicious.
Cool Ranch Dorito story.
Number one for me is another original flavor chip. It is the Ruffles potato chip. By itself, in a dip, strong enough to not crack, but even by itself, just a very good chip.
Is the sour cream and onion dip still your favorite dip?
It's got to be Axelrod sour cream and onion dip.
There you
Yes.
have it. There you have it.
And
Adding
again,
more.
the Ruffles chip is the only chip strong enough to dip into that Axelrod sour cream and onion dip.
There's a thick dip.
Yes.
Giggity.
You're correct about that.
Giggity.
Okay, my number one is not a Sun chip.
Oh,
And
my God.
I think I'm realizing I'm the only one that doesn't have a Dorito on my list. Although I got lots of respect for Doritos. It's not like I dislike it. Love me a Dorito. But my number one is actually on the border tortilla chips.
Really?
On the border brand. Yeah, it's on the border. It's not in my top favorite Mexican restaurants, but they're nachos. Especially if you're in the restaurant and they come out hot. Love those nachos. Yeah. But they do sell them in a bag, which is why I felt like I could actually bring them into this conversation as well.
And why them over any other tortilla? Why them over a Tostito? Is it just a different flavor?
Yeah, it's just I like the texture a little better. It's a little bit thinner. I dig them.
Okay.
Interesting. My number one is a classic already mentioned here. It's the Wise potato chip.
Oh, okay.
That was like my go-to chip growing up as a kid. So we always had a bag of Wise, and we ate the shit out of those things every time we went to Tasty. Of course, we didn't get the we always had Wise chips in the house, so it was always like grab those tuna sub and Wise chips or whatever we got, But I actually I get the Ruffles thing with the sour cream dip, but I actually like Wise better because even though it's frail as hell, you can kind of like take a few of them and just kind of like dip it in with like a claw-like maneuver and get them in, and it's like
wow,
phenomenal. But of course, you got you can't do it with like other people around.
How is Nick not 600 pounds? How is it possible?
A lot of running, man. A lot of running.
He's fucking reaching into peanut butter, just taking it by the hand.
Well, he's still young, though. He's
doing the same thing with fucking sour cream and onion dip.
I'm not that younger than you guys.
Jesus.
Have you hit 40 yet?
Yeah, 40.
All right. Then you should be fatter. God damn it.
Really should be.
All right. So we got to do ice cream next.
All right.
We got to do ice cream.
Okay, so let's start the ground rules. So is there any is sherbet and ice cream?
Frozen yogurt is not acceptable.
Okay, so no froyo. I would guess
sherbet's not acceptable either at that point, right?
Sherbet's not acceptable. Okay.
If we're not allowing frozen yogurt, I don't think we can accept sherbet.
Okay.
But pretzels are a chip.
Which is a shame because the Stop and Shop rainbow sherbet is hands down the best sherbet I've ever had in my life. You put a little whipped cream on there, you mix the.
Well, now I got a question too. Then
creamsicle. Oh my god,
is
fucking delicious.
Is an ice cream sandwich ice cream?
Oh,
I think we can have two different categories. We can have ice cream man ice cream, and then we can have ice cream that you buy in the half-gallon or pint size.
Okay.
That is two different things. Yeah, what you would get from a truck, that would be a great one to do too.
So what we're gonna do: store-bought gallon, half-gallon, pint first.
Yeah. Breyers,
Mr. Buddy, ice cream man next.
Yeah, we could do that. I'm all right.
Or should we save that for the summer as like because that's a summertime treat?
I like that.
Well, I don't know. My ice cream man still came yesterday, so I mean,
ew,
giggity. But that's not going to be next week. That is going to be in 2 weeks. Because I, unfortunately, your host, your leader, your captain of the podcast, will not be here next week. So I'm leaving it in the trusty hands of
just like the Rangers, he's going to leave it in the hands of the 47 other alternates on the podcast.
No, it's clear I wear the captaincy and you guys are the A's. So that's clear.
Wow.
So the three of us could do our top 5 ridiculous Tom stories.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I am going to have so many honorable mentions.
Wait,
Jesus.
did you say top 3? That's it?
No, he
No,
said
no.
top 5.
We're doing top
He
five.
said top 5.
You have 5?
Oh my God.
Oh.
How am I going to narrow it down?
Wow. Well, I will be on the edge of my seat until next Thursday, where I can listen to the dribble that comes out of your fucking mouths. All right. Moving on. GMs were meeting in Florida this week. Fucking assholes. Not the GMs, the fucking Georgiev and Net. So a few things came out of the GM meeting that I think we should touch on a little bit. One is the whole Dadanov extravaganza, and now they will be filing the no trade clauses with the Central Registry. They weren't before? How the fuck was that not being filed and keeping track of before? If you have no movement clauses in your contract, if Cap Friendly can do it, how has the freaking NHL Central Registry not done this yet?
They should actually they should officially adopt Cap Friendly as an actual NHL official site, and then just say, hey, GMs, do your trades through Cap Friendly, pass it on to us, and then we'll just be like, yeah, it's verified because it has actual data, as opposed to just, we'll when it comes to time to actually do the trade, they'll let us know who's got a no trade clause. Like, what the fuck is this shit? How do they fuck this up so bad? What other league has ever had a rescinded trade because they fucked up the paperwork so poorly?
Every team's got a legal department. Every team's got lawyers on retain. I mean, come on. When you make a deal for somebody, you're not reviewing the contract. You should probably review it ahead of time. But like, you don't review the contracts of the people that you're adding to your roster.
Well, is it part of the contract?
Come from other teams. I mean, what
Is the no movement clauses or the no trade clauses, are they part of the contract?
What do you think it's a clause of?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's a clause of the contract.
But if it's in the contract, then how is it not filed with the Central Registry? Again, I don't understand how this fucking wasn't done before.
Sounds like a shitty legal department for the Vegas Golden Knights, honestly.
For the NHL, not just the Golden Knights.
Too.
But I hear this is the fault of the Senators, though, because they didn't do something. Who gives a shit?
Who knows how it all works out?
Yeah. So
obviously not the logical way.
No. So the salary cap will increase $1 million next season to $82.5 million. We kind of assumed that already.
And all that money is going to Frank Vetrano from the Rangers. They're just going to give him that extra $1 million.
Well, I hope that why did they come back from commercial and he score?
No.
Damn. God damn it. I was hoping that's where that was leading. Also, hockey related revenue this season are projected to be $5 billion, which is great for the sport.
That's a chunk.
That's a huge chunk. You know where it compares to the other three other main sports?
No.
Show prep, baby. Show prep, Brian. So they passed Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball made $4.05 billion last year in revenue.
Yeah, but they played like 100 games, though, didn't they?
There's still more. Well, that was last year and not compared to the season in 2022, right? So you got to give them that. But still, $5 billion is more than $4.05 billion for Major League Baseball.
Bill, can you confirm?
Check that math, Bill.
The math is good.
Okay.
They have salaries over there, so man, I'm surprised they ever got out of the lockdown. That was the case.
NFL $9.8 billion last year, and the NBA will reach or are projected to make $10 billion this year. So the NHL coming up in the world compared to what they were.
Well, in the sense of, like being profitable, sure. But I mean, it's not everything, right? So you look at like the salary caps for like the NFL and players' salaries in the NBA and things like that, and it's a lot higher. So, it's not 2.6 billion of cap space that we're talking about in the NHL for those other leagues. So it's a lot more money they're spending there. But it's good. It's good because if they continually slowly build up the cap and not just go, oh, we're gonna raise it $20-30 million and let everybody just spend
that
crazy
might
money.
happen actually in the 24-25 season, where that larger jump will happen when all the escrow is paid back.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. That's got to be done, and they got to get to a point where the league will be healthy, and but they really have to incentivize teams not to make ridiculous contracts, because then put yourselves back in the same boat a few years later. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Discussions about the salary cap in the playoffs were talked about, but nothing really concrete or settled, especially for this season.
The big thing I got out of that was they can't just decide to change that.
Well,
that's got to be bargained with the players.
Yeah, that was in the collective bargaining agreement right before they went into the
right.
bubble.
So that's not going to change for next season.
Well, it could, right? Don't they?
I would think they're not going to open up the collective bargaining agreement just for that.
Yeah, but the collective bargaining agreement is good until what, 2026?
Right, and I would bet that it's not going to change until then.
So we have LTIR until 2026. Well, look, I think we need LTIR because of the salary cap, but having a salary cap in the playoffs,
players are going to want some sort of provision coming back to them in exchange for approving that.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. We'll keep a close eye on that one. And the 2024 World Cup will not have that North American young team. They're just going to go with more traditional team nations for the World Cup,
which makes sense.
Yeah, so that's what's going on with the GMs down in Florida. So let's take a ride in the Metro. Sponsored by Nestle Quick. Hello, boys and girls. Do you hate the taste of regular milk and need energy? Try Nestle Quick. One sip and you can feel the energy in your muscles. Nestle Quick, now available in chocolate and strawberry.
They say the real men drink pink. Then I'm a real man for sure. But if you like the brown, I still love you for who you are. Because it's time for acceptance of everyone, all preference. We're all quick on the inside anyway. Nestle Quick, it does the trick.
And Nick, the Icelanders had a little rocky week, didn't they?
Yeah, up and down, as it were. Started off the week pretty good, 5-2 win over Detroit. Bavaria had scored 9 seconds into the game, which kind of set the tone for that game. I mean, you get scored on it with before 10 seconds you hit the clock. It's gonna be a fucking long night for you. And I wasn't really that was kind of the pace here. Brock Nelson continues his scorching hot streak, or just last month and a half, and had 2 goals in the game. But then we ran into the 2 back-to-back games against actual playoff teams in Boston and Tampa, losing both those games in 6-3 and 4-1. Boston game, they got outscored 4-1 in the second period. And that was just kind of killed them. They couldn't come back in the third period enough to really, claw back when you're down 6-2 effectively going into the third. And then Tampa Bay 4-1 loss. Sorokin got hurt in the game in the second period. Took a shot up high, or a couple shots maybe off the helmet. They called it upper body. He didn't come out in the third. He didn't play in the Columbus game, but sounds like he's okay. He's going to be reevaluated back in Long Island, hopefully tomorrow, and see if he's good to go, cleared up. Hopefully not a concussion, but they took him out of that game going to that third period. But then we ended the week with a win over Columbus, 4-3 win. They were pretty much winning that game, pretty much just no problems, and almost gave the game away. And the last few minutes of that game, Columbus really turned it on, and even to the point where there was a penalty. Columbus got a power play on a pretty crappy penalty where, well, I forget which guy it was. He dove on a play. Basically, Bavilli just tapped his leg and took a dive. Even the announcers called it a dive. Didn't matter. In the end, they mostly killed the penalty before Columbus had Isles drew a penalty in the last 2 minutes and effectively ended the game. So 2-2, all 4 games. Brock Nelson scored in. He had 5 goals in the last 4 games. Still continuing this hot streak. He has a chance to hit 40 this year, which he's never been a 30-goal scorer. So to see him really pushing the pace this year, it's really good for him. And
a lot of that going on.
Yeah. And then
do you know who the last Islander player was who scored 40 goals?
Yes, Lee.
That's correct.
I believe.
The 17-18 season. You know who was before him?
I won't do trivia then.
Before Lee?
Yep.
I think it was Molson.
Now it's Jason Blake.
Oh, Blakey did. That's right. Blakey did. Molson had 35, I think. I don't think he had 40. Tavares, I don't think, had 40. So it must have been Blakey. Yeah, Blakey had a 40-goal season out of nowhere. Great playing with Alexei Yashin, but that was only season he ever had something like that. Isles are outshot by at least 10 shots in all 4 games. Basically, what they typically allow is, a shit ton of shots, but I felt that was pretty crazy having at least 10. 10 was the minimum. Every game they were outshot by like 12, 15, basically. But that's Isles hockey. Let teams shoot from the outside, not give up anything in the middle. But in order to do that, you got to play good defense, and they're just not there. You can't play that way and allow 6 goals, 4 goals. Those are games you are auto losses on. I mean, you can even make the argument that 3 goals, are not really games that they should be winning. In fact, a lot of times, the last couple of years, they've been playing. You got 3 goals in the Isles, you're probably going to go to overtime or win, and that was because we couldn't really keep pace with a lot of those teams. So that's been the week. Next week we have Columbus at home, and we have Rangers, Devils, and Dallas all in a row away. So they'll be playing at least 2 playoff teams. I think Dallas is a playoff team. Can't remember now.
Wow, that West is kind of a little fuzzy right now.
Yeah. So, but we'll see how it goes, and I'm hoping that at this point, just Sorokin's healthy. I hope Brock hits 40 this year. That's kind of the goals at this point, because they're too far gone unless Washington were to lose like 6 or 7 in a row and Isles were to win 6 or 7 in a row. Would be the only way they have any chance to make it into the playoffs. But likely in about 2 weeks will be eliminated. Maybe even the end of the week, they could be eliminated from the contention in the playoffs. So we'll see how it goes.
Steve, the Devils coaster ride continues.
Yeah, 2 games since we last talked. Loss at Washington, which is kind of expected, except they scored first and only lost because they gave up 3 goals in the 3rd period. And again, that's that short stretch of time. This time it was a little bit longer, about 10 minutes. But giving up 3 goals in 10 minutes, you're just not going to win a game if you don't play a full 60 minutes. And then they followed that up the next day with a 3-2 win over Montreal that went to 7 rounds of a shootout. And it was Miles Wood's return to the lineup. After this entire season up until now, he's finally back in the lineup. So that was good to get him back. A lot of people were like, why even bring him back at this point? Why not just let him sit out the rest of the year, continue to get healthy for next year? But he's an RFA in the offseason. We need to know what what's he going to contribute to this team? Balls look.
I'm sure he wanted to play too, right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to be healthy and not play.
Fuck that.
Balls looked good since he's been called up. He's getting some time with the big boys before he goes back down for the playoffs. Also this week, the Devils signed Brian Hallinan, not O'Halloran, Brian Hallinan from Michigan Tech. 21 goals, 22 assists in 37 games. He's a Hobey Baker finalist. So he's on an amateur tryout for the rest of the season. and then his 2-year deal will kick in. And it's possible that they're going to get Zaka back tomorrow, but now they're saying probably not. So apparently he was at practice and everybody's excited he's going to come back. And he left practice early, so now we don't know. Outside of that, the 2 games over the weekend, it was really the same old story. It's Hughes and Bratt, again, putting up more than a point per game stats. Actually, Hughes is one of only 7 players to average more than a point per game in their ages 20 or younger season. The other guys on the list are McDavid, Ovechkin, Yager, Lindros, who did it twice, Steven Stamkos, who did it twice, and Crosby, who did it 3 times.
Not bad names.
That's some decent company to be in.
No doubt about that.
Now he's just got to be able to play a 75 to 80 game season. That's his next hurdle. Keep producing at the rate you're producing. Stay healthy to play a whole season. So they're back on the ice tomorrow against Boston. I was hoping it was going to be Andrew Hammond's first game with the team, but they haven't really committed to when he's going to debut with the team.
So I'm assuming he's been practicing and he's back with the team.
He's been practicing. He traveled with them to Washington. He traveled with them to Toronto just to be able to get the pregame skate and the in-between day practices in with them. And he's practiced the last couple of practices they've had in New Jersey, but they just won't commit to when he's going to start.
Yeah, but that guy traveled from Newark to friggin' Washington to watch the game too. So,
and he had a sign.
And he had a sign. Exactly. Man alive.
That he went through 2 states to get to a hockey.
Billy, you say 1,000 miles constitutes a sign. Anything under 1,000 miles can't do a sign. Or it's not justified to have a sign.
If you drove a few hundred miles, you think you deserve a fucking sign and a shout out for going to a road game? I mean, come on. Give me at least like you spend 3/4 of your day traveling, at least.
Oh, if he drove slow.
Sure, he went through traffic in Baltimore and DC.
He took back roads, maybe.
Oh,
He took Tom shortcuts, as I like to call them.
Shit, this was the weekend? Well, so much for the traffic. Oh, well. So, turning to the Rangers, they had a pretty good week, and they reclaimed the number 2 spot in the Metro, although you wouldn't know it fucking tonight. But they had some pretty important games, played Pittsburgh twice within 3 games. And look, for the first 5 minutes of that game on last Friday at the Garden against the Penguins, it was craziness. You had 3 goals. You had a disallowed goal, a review. I mean, it was just a very there was more action in the first 5 minutes of that game than there was in the first Ranger Penguins game in Pittsburgh. Lafreniere, Kreider, and Vetrano all scored within the first 5 minutes. Rangers added goals by Kreider and Kopp in the 5-1 win. Kreider 2 goals. His first full season on the penalty kill this year, and he's got 3 shorthanded goals. The line of Hedel, Lafreniere, and Goudreau that's been put together played solid, and you know what? They're still playing solid in the games that we've seen. That Friday game, Rangers actually outshot the Penguins 33-21, but Penguins murdered them on draws 62% to 38. And the Rangers are changing that script a little bit of 5-on-5 play. They've gotten a little bit more balanced. That happens when you get NHL caliber players playing your 3rd and 4th line. So it just leads to a little bit more offense and a little bit more shots on goal and better 5-on-5 play. Jari did get chased in that game, but had to come back in after the Smith got ran over by his own player, and Jari did finish out the game and looked pretty solid when he came back in, even though he did let up a goal to Kopp. But that was the game was over at that point. Moving on to Buffalo and a not a back-to-back affair. Sorry about that. On Sunday, a 5 o'clock start was there was a bunch of five. Bill, the Penguins started at 5 o'clock that day too, right, against Detroit. Is that because of just because of the Oscars? Even the NCAA tournament started early that day.
I didn't even think about the Oscars.
I didn't either until it was on, and I saw fucking Will Smith smack Chris Rock. I figured we'd fit that in somewhere. Rangers had a really hot start again. Vetrano had 2 goals in the opening 5 minutes of play, with really within 18 seconds of each other. The game settled down, and the Rangers stopped playing their game, and Buffalo slowed the pace down. And by the midpoint in the second period, it was 3-2. At that point, Lafreniere scored to tie it. Teams exchanged third period goals, Panarin and Skinner, and then the overtime winner went to Keandre Miller. This was one of those games where it was the first game that MSG had a spotlight camera fixed on one player. The majority of the fucking time they had this isolation camera on Adam Fox, because that's who it was about. It was him hopping over the boards, either to come onto the ice or go off of the ice, and then watch him circle around in the defensive zone while the Rangers were in the offensive zone. So, I mean, I sent you guys that, the message. I'm at that age where, ESPN is putting that friggin' camera that hovers above the ice from the end zone. And then you got this isolation camera. I'm done with these fancy friggin' camera angles. Just give me hockey on TV as it was fucking intended. Please. We're done. And then the rematch in Pittsburgh against the Penguins last night. Oh, sorry, Bill. Rangers actually won in faceoffs 59% to 42 and outshot the Buffalo Sabres 31-17. Last night it was a pretty even game in the first part of that game. In my opinion, I'm sure Bill will have a difference of opinion, but the Pens jumped out to an early 1-0 lead on a deflection goal by Brian Boyle, but the Rangers held the Penguins to a limited number of shots on goal. I think they had 9 halfway through the game, which is, very unheard of for the Rangers holding anybody to that low shot total, especially. Sorry about that. Especially the likes of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Vetrano and Schneider scored second period goals. And then Kreider on the power play early in the third period. And then you're thinking 3-1 lead early in the third period. Rangers are in complete control until Kopp takes a really bad, unnecessary penalty at the side of the net against Ruedel. I think he knocked him down. And at that point, the entire complexion of the third period changed. Crosby scores a goal on the power play, and then the Penguins got some life, and they're rolling after that. And then, the whole fucking thing was, they pulled the goal, the Pens pulled the goalie, and the Rangers couldn't fucking hit the empty net to save their goddamn lives. But they still held on to win 3-2. Rangers outshot the Penguins 26-24, but did a little bit better on faceoff. Penguins outdid them on faceoff 54% to 46%. But those 2 wins against the Penguins last week gives them a little bit of confidence to say, hey, listen, they may be able to win that first round series against the Penguins. I still don't know which team is definitely going to do that. I have a little bit more confidence in the Rangers with this team, how it's constructed right now than the team earlier in the season. But all I do know is it's going to be a great opening round series between the Penguins and the Rangers, as long as everything stays the way it is. And I think it is. So the Rangers right now have the edge in the standings, and we'll have home ice if everything ended right now, which it won't, because we still have 16 more games left to go. Bill, what was your take on those Penguins games?
Well, I agree. The Rangers, after those games were played, they do have the edge over the Penguins, and I would expect them to win a first round series against the Penguins, because there's nothing that I've seen from the Penguins in this season that suggests to me they've taken any stride forward in terms of how I would expect them to perform in the playoffs, with the exception of Jari playing better and hoping that he does so in the playoffs. This is a team that's been bounced in the first round for several seasons in a row now, and the way that they're playing against the better teams in the league would suggest to me that they're probably not going to break through when this year's playoffs come around, and whether it's the Rangers that they play, or if they manage to falter, they could still be caught by the Capitals, and they could draw a first round matchup against either Carolina or I guess it depends on where they land. Whoever wins the other division in the conference, but the first game against the Rangers was a game that they obviously didn't show up for, and I'm not taking away anything from the Rangers because the Penguins, it's a long season, and sometimes you start a game a little flat, and sometimes you get away with it because the other team isn't maybe flying right off the faceoff, and the Rangers, did not wait around in that game. They took that opportunity, they kicked the door down, and the game was over in just a few minutes. And so I give the Rangers credit for that, because had they not started out skating as hard as they could, then maybe the Penguins get their legs under them in a few minutes' time, and the complexion of the game could change. That was just an ass kicking at the hands of the Rangers, and it was a wake up call for them. They went to Detroit next, and scored 11 goals in the game against Detroit. And Detroit, obviously, they didn't show up for that one. I mean, they looked like a team that gave up in that game.
Well, it's a good thing that we had to play them in the next game. So thanks for that, by the way. For tonight.
And that's kind of the psychology of the league, because maybe the Rangers came out so hard because they had played the Devils the game before and got embarrassed. Maybe there's something to the psychology there of what a bad loss does to a team in the next game. But yeah, 11 in Detroit was the first time that 11 goals were scored in something like 19 years. That was an impressive display, but
they said in the salary cap era, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said the salary cap era. Very, very important to note that the salary cap era, affected anybody's ability to score 11 times. So
how many goals did they score up the shot pass?
Salary cap era. But unfortunately, the success in Detroit did not carry over to the next game with the Rangers, and obviously the Penguins played a better game against the Rangers at home the other night, but again, just fell short there by the one goal. And when that's the hard thing, because when you have an opponent that you think you're pretty evenly matched with, the Penguins had won the first game of the season against them after a great performance by Jarry. But you can't really afford in those kind of rivalry games to throw one away, because then you come back, and obviously the Rangers are going to win some of those games, and they did that one night, and now they are down in the standings due to that, and frankly, the Rangers have an easier path going forward than the Penguins do, for sure. So I would expect the Rangers to maintain that lead. Certainly, I'm interested to see where we are in comparison with the Rangers like a week from today. Tom, I know you won't be here for that episode, but we might talk about it anyway. But the Penguins have to go off now to Minnesota, on the road to Minnesota, and then a home and home with Colorado. We'll see in a few days' time if the Penguins have come away with any points in those games. And how close we are to the Rangers and how close we are to Washington, and kind of reassess what their possibilities might be at that point.
Right. Well, conversely, the Rangers got the Islanders, they got the Flyers, and they got the Devils. Any one of those games can go either way, because those are huge rivalry games. And when, you play the Islanders, you play the Devils, maybe not so much the Flyers because they really suck. But, you play the Islanders, you play the Devils.
Fuck the Flyers.
You kind of always throw the rule book out the window, or the standings out the window.
The rule book?
Yeah, I know. I fucked that up.
Dangerous.
But it is going to be. But, the Penguins, we talked about the Penguins and the road trip that they went on in March, right? where they had to play, Vegas, they had to play Carolina. Then they went to Nashville, St. Louis. Arizona was going to be the cookie for them, but they also had in there Tampa, Carolina, Florida. That stretch of games, Pittsburgh did really well, and they had a winning record. So against those upper echelon teams, they fared fairly well, especially against the Western Conference teams. So, when they go to, Minnesota is not an easy place to play. Colorado is not an easy place to play. You're right. It's going to be very interesting to see where the Penguins are after those games, and the Rangers already lost those games to those opponents. So it's going to be very interesting to see where they are after that. I agree.
And now it's time for Trivia with Bill. Yeah.
Now this is the wrong Bill.
Thank you. All right. Trivia question number 65 for episode 65. Which Toronto Maple Leafs defenseman?
Matt Sundin.
I didn't finish the question. Matt Sundin was not a defenseman. All right. Try this. Which Toronto Maple Leafs
Uwe Krupp.
Did Uwe Krupp play for Toronto? I didn't even remember.
I have no idea.
I know he was on the Avalanche. I'm sure he played other places because. But no, that's not the answer. He's not even on the multiple choice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then it had to be Thomas Cabriolet.
No, I mean it might help if I get through what the question is. That might give you more context.
I don't know. I kind of like this better.
Dave Ellett. He was traded with
not-
Doug. He was traded with Dougie Gilmore to the New Jersey Devils. Dave Ellett. Is that
From
the
the
answer?
Winnipeg Jets, by the way. So wasn't he?
No, from the Maple Leafs.
Oh, all right. So he was actually a Maple Leafs defenseman. Well,
Yep.
he's not the answer. So the
EK
question-
65, Eric Carlson for episode 65.
Was he a Maple Leaf?
No,
Nobody
he was-
wore 65, so it makes sense.
Okay, so he's got to be the answer.
Does make sense.
Which
Brian
Toronto-
Leach. Got to be. He's the answer to every
Toronto
question.
These guy, he does have to be answered.
It's a shame because Leach was a U.S. player, U.S.-born player. Why did they ever ship him to Canada? That was awful.
On his birthday, nonetheless. Fuck you, Glenn Sather.
Ooh, somebody's got some baggage from that trade. Okay,
Salty.
which Toronto Maple Leafs defenseman led the NHL in penalty minutes 7 times?
Ty Domi.
Defenseman, you said?
Defenseman Ty Domi is one of the multiple choice, but he
7 times.
Are you serious? He's a multiple choice? Oh my god.
7 times. I don't remember him leading the league 7 times.
7 times.
James
So-
Patrick.
James Patrick, I don't believe ever led the league in penalty minutes. No, he's not the answer. I'm not sure.
Lee
if he played
Bing.
very well.
It was Lady Bing.
Was it Lee Bing?
Tom's gonna be happy. Tom's gonna be happy.
Lady, I like Lady Bing better. I think that's my favorite one. Who was the guy who fucking Sean Avery said something about his girlfriend? Had sloppy seconds. Who's
Dion
that guy?
Phaneuf.
Dion Phaneuf. My answer is Dion Phaneuf.
Calgary Flames. Make sure you pay attention to the TV there, bud.
No, wasn't he? Didn't he get traded to the Maple Leafs?
Did he?
I believe he
Enough
did
to
it.
play that with Toronto.
He did. Yeah.
Oh, way
But
to
he
be
did not
Copper.
lose.
Way to be Copper.
How did it take you extra time to score 5 goals on these pieces of shit? These Red Wings.
We
Good
had
God.
Georgiev and net and had to go to overtime.
Yeah, but how did it take that long for you to score 5 goals?
Who are you looking for, Smith? It's the guy that just skated right past you. That's the guy you're supposed to be covering.
Well,
Dummy.
listen, this was the game in hand that the Rangers had, and they took advantage and they got the 2
You-
points.
Dumb shit. That's why you're not in the fucking playoffs, Detroit.
Detroit
Why they're
does.
not going to be in the league.
I don't think they get relegated or anything. They'll still be in the league next
Well,
year.
they should. God damn it. Oof.
So would anybody like me to go?
Can we do the multiple choice, please?
We finally found that
Yeah,
goalie Nevelkovic, whatever. You're not going to work here no more. It's worse than Georgiev. Wow.
She devolved this conversation. All right, multiple choice time.
So
Billy,
multiple choice. It was A, Ty Domi, which we already established is not the answer. B, Red Horner. C, Tim Horton, or D, Tiger Williams?
I love his
Didn't,
coffee. Tim Horton.
Tim Hortons.
I love
Yeah,
his
good
coffee. He's got great coffee.
Didn't Matthew Schneider play for the Leafs at one point?
He did. He did.
I think it's
Really?
Matthew Schneider.
But he wasn't one of the choices, Steve.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
right.
not
It's
a
got to be
choice.
one of the choices.
I'm going with the coffee.
Just
Gotta be coffee.
I'm going to go with the Tiger because the Masters is next weekend.
There you go.
you are incorrect, and you are incorrect. Tiger Williams, while I believe he leads the all-time NHL list in penalty minutes, was not the defenseman who led 7 times.
Oh,
Oh
fuck
my
you.
God, it was Ty Domi? Holy shit.
It was not Ty Domi.
It was Rhett Warner? Who the hell was
That's
the other
the guy.
guy?
Red Horner.
That's-
Close enough. It was Red Horner.
Rhett Warner, Red Horner. What's the difference?
Thank
Yeah,
God we're done with that, and we can move on to impressions with Nick.
Fucking great. We had our impressions earlier. We had a little jump in, so you're good to go today.
Move on. Next.
That's it?
Oh, we're
Yeah.
That fucking abomination of a
That's-
segment that we're just not going to
That
bring up again.
terrible thing
ever.
before?
I might have to edit that all
Oh
out.
my
Sorry, Casey.
God. All right. This date brings us to let's go to Steve's stomach.
Oh, that feels better.
Wow, you fucked up too.
Yeah. We're gonna go to the year of our Lord 2010. 2010.
2010.
Please go to December 14th. Shit, I might have
December
messed it up earlier.
14th was a Tuesday.
No, hold on. No. This
What?
article was written on the 14th. You got to go to December 4th. December 4th.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
December 4th was a Saturday.
still in Edmond.
I did have breakfast this day
Ooh.
with
Tell.
Tom and Lauren and Nick and Tara at IHOP.
At IHOP in
Oh,
Field
IHOP.
10.
Wow.
We went out to IHOP. I snacked on delicious egg crepe with bacon and some soda, which must have filled me up because I did not eat lunch this day
Whoa.
and
Maybe
went
we-
straight to
maybe we
dinner.
maybe we ate a late.
We might have had a
brunch.
late
Right,
breakfast. Went straight to dinner, which was on location at Big Stosh's, which is a restaurant that's on Route 1 or was on Route 1 in Rahway, known for their Polish cuisine. So of course I had stuffed shells for dinner and
That's
soda,
not Polish, at
which is
all.
not Polish at all, correct? Stuffed shells and soda with, of course, bread and butter. And we celebrated Karen's birthday at Big Stosh's.
Happy birthday, Karen.
It's delicious.
Why did you pick December 4th?
This was the day a Wisconsin postal worker delivered his mail
Naked.
naked.
Now, wait a minute. You said the article was written on December 14th.
Yeah, it
So
absolutely
it
was.
took them 10 days to report the nude postman.
Oh, it
Bad
went
news
by-
travels fast. Good news, funny news takes some time apparently.
Holy cow. 10
Yeah.
days.
But I mean, but there was a police report. I mean, the Wisconsin postal worker says he simply wanted to cheer up a woman on his mail route who seemed stressed out. Because when you see a woman on your mail route, what you do is you deliver the mail naked. That's
was-
what you do.
He was hot and he was hungry.
Right. Well, it's December in Wisconsin, so I don't know necessarily that he was hot.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I was just as I was waiting for you to tell me the date, I was perusing my other entries, and I see that on December the 11th, I mowed the lawn.
Really?
December 11th?
December 11th, not only did I mow the lawn, it took 7 bags.
Leaves.
If you were getting lead,
You're
You
definitely
must have
getting
But
missed a
still,
lot of shit
7
there.
bags. That's a lot. You know, usually it's only 2 or 3.
I bet
usually
you
usually put the leaves on the curb
Yeah.
Oh,
and they
But
suck
the-
up that giant vacuum.
Yeah. And the last pickup is later in December. So it's not like they weren't going to be picking up again. They absolutely were. But mowing the lawn on December 11th.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
interesting.
I don't think I ever mowed my lawn after
November 1st.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, yeah. I mean,
somewhere like Like I would mow the lawn right before I put the Christmas stuff, just to make sure I didn't have to do it. If I had to.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is wacky, wild stuff. Wacky and wild. I think we got an hour tonight, boys. That was well done. Now you're promising 45 minutes next. I'll be on the lookout for that for sure, to see if you guys can actually do it and cover everything. So you're in good
Without you
hands.
derailing the train, I think it's going to be pretty short bet.
Okay. Certainly won't be as interesting. I can tell you that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
We will see. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at friends_rivals. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We will read them on the air. Just to, I know I didn't look. Let me make sure.
Yep. No show prep again.
Let me make sure. Let's see what we got. The PAL games. Great content. What? Huh? Uh-oh. We do have a review from our friend Pete Doer 23.
Ooh.
What?
Again.
Review that stuff.
4 fucking stars, Pete. Didn't we have this problem last time, Pete? God damn it, you're bringing our rating down. How do we have a top 5 cereal list and no one says tricks? Inconceivable.
Wow.
I mean, we lose a star. I mean,
Pete, I don't know. Maybe you didn't listen close enough. It's not debatable. Okay.
They used to have the tricks used to come in just the little round balls, but then they put them in the shape of the fruit, you see, and that changed the complete, that changed everything about trick cereal.
Changes the texture. Yeah.
Changed everything, the taste, the texture.
Not even an honorable mention, Pete. So why don't you shut up?
Yikes. Well, Pete, thank you for the review. Thank you for listening. Turn on notifications for our podcast so you never miss an episode of the Friends and Rivals podcast. Billy, say something, Woody.
Don't forget about our joint marketing campaign with Nesquik. Real men drink pink, right? Because
so now you're harnessing the joke. I get it. That's really funny.
And Steve's not happy about it.
Of course, he hasn't been happy all night.
No.
This thing is out.
Oh, my friends and rivals. Flyers fuck, flyers fuck, flyers